right now, in this exact moment, you're bored enough to be watching this video. Think about that. Out of every possible thing you could be doing with your time, your brain decided that sitting here and absorbing information was more appealing than staring at a blank wall. That is not an accident. That is not laziness. That is one of the oldest and most powerful survival mechanisms your species has ever evolved, quietly running in the background of your mind without you ever noticing it. Boredom, it turns out, has been keeping you alive for a very long time. Most people think of boredom as the enemy, the thing to be crushed, the feeling you reach for your phone to escape. Productivity gurus treat it like a disease. Social media companies have built trillion-dollar empires specifically designed to make sure you never have to sit with it for more than 3 seconds. But here's what they are not telling you. Boredom is not a bug in your mental software. It is one of the core features. To understand why, you have to go back, way back. Before the cities, before the farms. Picture your ancestors standing at the edge of a savanna about 200,000 years ago. The hunt was finished hours ago. The tribe has eaten. The fire is burning low. There is nothing left to do. Nothing that needs immediate attention. And right there, in that gap between surviving and sleeping, something unusual happened inside the human brain. It got restless. It started searching. It refused to simply turn off. That restlessness is what researchers now call the boredom system. And according to neuroscientist John Eastwood at York University, it is not just discomfort for the sake of discomfort. Your brain during boredom is doing something that looks almost like scanning. It is searching for something worthy of its attention. And if it cannot find anything, it does something extraordinary. It starts generating possibilities on its own. That is the mechanism your ancestor used to invent things. Not because someone told them to. Not because they had a deadline. Because boredom made the search for novelty feel urgent, even when there was no immediate threat to respond to. Think about what your ancestors invented in those restless, idle hours. Tools made more efficient, not because the old ones failed, but because a bored mind kept asking, what if I tried it this way? Stories told around the fire, not because anyone needed information, but because a wandering mind found meaning in pattern and narrative. Music that served no immediate survival function, but somehow made the group feel more bonded. And none of that required danger. All of it required boredom. Psychologist Sandi Mann at the University of Central Lancashire has called boredom the birthplace of creativity, and her research backed it up directly. In her studies, participants who were made to do something deeply boring showed significantly higher creative output afterward than those who went into the creative exercise fresh. Boredom was not draining the creative system. It was priming it. Your ancestors who could tolerate boredom, who could sit with it long enough to let the mind wander productively, had a measurable advantage over those who could not. The ones who needed constant stimulation were always reacting. They were never and were imagining, and in the long game of survival, imagining is what makes the difference. This is why boredom feels uncomfortable, not because it is useless, because it is a signal, a biological alarm, your brain saying the current environment is not challenging enough for what you are capable of. Boredom is your species' oldest restlessness. But here is where the story takes a turn that should make you stop and look at your phone. The system evolved in a world of information scarcity. Your ancestor could not scroll, could not click, could not find an infinite feed of content engineered to deliver the exact dopamine hit needed to silence the boredom signal without actually satisfying it. You get the feeling of engagement without the outcome of engagement. You get the sensation of novelty without the creative work of generating it yourself. And so the wandering mind never wanders far enough to stumble onto something new. Your brain needs the boredom. It was built for it. The discomfort is not telling you that something is wrong. It is telling you that something is possible. You're sitting with this right now because something in you was restless enough to look for something worth thinking about. That restlessness is ancient. That search is the whole story. They were bored, so they invented everything. And tonight, when the screen finally goes dark and the silence comes back, the same invitation will be waiting. All you have to do is sit with it long enough to find out where it goes.